I'm Anthony,
My name is Matthias.
and for our project we did the respiratory system, and then we chose pneumonia as the disease. The reason we chose the respiratory system is because this is one that we just felt like we personally knew the most about, especially with COVID. I had a friend who had pneumonia before the whole country got quarantined, and turns out a doctor called him a few months later and said they think that it was COVID, and that's why it didn't go away. So we thought this was the most interesting to do, and that's why we chose it. So the respiratory system is a system of organs and tissues that help your body absorb oxygen from the air so your organs can work. It also rids the body of toxins such as carbon dioxide from your blood. Next is parts of the respiratory system and their functions. So first is the nose and nasal cavities. These are used to smell and filter air to protect the respiratory tract through the use of mucociliary system. Is that how you say that? It cleans airways leading to the respiratory system. Next is the capillaries. These are tiny blood vessels that surround the alveoli, and the capillaries then connect to larger blood vessels or veins, which bring oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. Next is the sinuses. So these are hollow points located in your head and around your nose. They help regulate the temperature and humidity of the air when entering your body. Next is alveoli, or the air sacs in your lungs. They allow oxygen in your bloodstream while at the same time helping push out carbon dioxide. Next is your throat, or your pharynx. This is just a passageway for food, air, water, etc. Then you got your larynx, which is your voice box. This contains your vocal cords, and it allows air to pass through your trachea. Then we have the bronchioles. These carry air to your alveoli. And then the bronchial tubes of the bronchi are just your airways. Those were next. Next is your windpipe, or your trachea. This just carries air in and out of your body. Then we have the diaphragm. This contracts and flattens when you breathe. And then finally is the lungs, and they just bring in oxygen and then push out carbon dioxide. How does the respiratory system maintain homeostasis? And it's pretty simple. It's just by exchanging air and carbon dioxide, which is just basically breathing. And now I will hand this over to Matthias to talk about pneumonia.
Alright, so I'll be going over facts about pneumonia. Pneumonia is typically caused by bacteria, viruses, and sometimes fungi. This respiratory infection causes the lungs' air sacs, known as alveoli, to fill with fluid or pus, which makes it difficult for the oxygen you breathe to make it into your bloodstream and circulate throughout your body. Some common symptoms of pneumonia include fever, chills, coughing, and trouble breathing. The severity of pneumonia depends on what type of germs are causing your respiratory infection, and if the patient is an infant or a senior citizen. The most typical form of bacterial pneumonia is called pneumococcal pneumonia. Pneumococcal pneumonia is caused by the Streptococcus pneumoniae germ. Streptococcus pneumonia is a commensal organism, which basically means it benefits from the human body without harming it. Infections caused by Streptococcus pneumonia is what harms the body, causing pneumonia and also bronchitis. Streptococcus pneumonia is alpha hemolytic, which means it breaks down red blood cells by producing hydrogen peroxide in the bloodstream. The production of hydrogen peroxide can cause damage to your DNA and kill cells in your lungs. This type of pneumonia causes all of the common symptoms of pneumonia, and if left untreated for too long, can spread to the brain and spinal cord, causing pneumococcal meningitis, identifiable by a stiff neck, fever, confusion, and sometimes headaches. Pneumonia is a leading cause of hospitalization in children and adults. Although most cases are treatable through the regular use of antibiotics, it takes several weeks for a person infected to fully recover. Tens of thousands of people die in the U.S. every year, but most of the time they're above the age of 65. One of the biggest risks for people over 65 is the fact that pneumonia weakens their immune system in order to fight off potentially dangerous diseases in the future.
All right, so lucky enough for me and Matthias, neither of us have had pneumonia because before doing research, we didn't realize how dangerous it was. So next is the demographic of the U.S. So I just used we used the stats from 2018 because after 2019, COVID kind of just blends with the numbers of everything else and just makes it a whole mess. So I felt as if 2018 would be the most accurate. So the state with the most deaths from pneumonia in 2018 was actually California with 6,197, which is outrageous. The state with the least amount of deaths was Alaska with 68, which wasn't that surprising, to be honest. And then since we're living in Montana now, we marked down Montana as one to look at too. And Montana in 2018 had 152 deaths from pneumonia. So, for the most part, they're the states in 2018 that just had the highest death rate from pneumonia were Colorado, Oregon, Minnesota, Vermont, and Florida. So that is it for our podcast. Thank you for listening.